Living in a scary house. Living in a scary house.
Welcome to The Scary Show. Tonight's edition is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to focus on what I am thankful for, and next week we will resume the scaries with episode 17. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to a few friends of the channel who I am thankful to know. Starting with Manny of BudLather.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I wanted to talk about, you and BudLather. I'll edit it later.
You're gonna edit out all my lame jokes, aren't you?
No, I will keep those in and then put in all my best jokes.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you know that my jokes are all the best.
Well, yeah, because you got them from me. So, so all my old jokes that you.
Yeah. They only cost me pennies a day.
Yeah, it was just pennies a day. You can give a guy like Maddie a sense of humor.
So if you were to start smoking marijuanas like me, would you have to change your name to Bong Olero?
Oh. We're gonna have to censor that.
We're gonna censor.
Can we get the guys in control to bleep that out?
Boop. Boop. Censored.
Oh shit.
Yeah. At the end of the show, they're not even gonna call them bloopers anymore. They're gonna call them boopers.
Oh god.
I make handcrafted, cold process soaps and a number of other skincare products, and we're working on a bunch more. But right now on the website, we've got 4 kinds of soaps, and they're each terpene inspired, like bisabolol and the mint blend and the eucalyptol. And we got some other ones that are curing, like caryophyllene. And they're all inspired by the terpenes that you find in cannabis. And they're hemp-infused soaps. So, I mean, like, oh, does that mean you put hemp seed oil? Well, yeah, I mean, I put hemp seed oil, but we do a lot more to infuse the hemp into the soaps. Soaps are made of oil and lye. You can't make soap without lye. If you're making something and you're not using lye, then it's not soap that you're making. But yeah, I mixed the lye with my infused cannabis or hemp-infused cooking oils, like cold-pressed olive oil and coconut oil and cocoa butter and rice bran oil, soybean oil. Those are the things that I'm working with. I'm not working with like lard or animal tallow or palm oil or anything like that. I'm pretty picky with what I work with. And it's only like the best oils. Like it's extra virgin olive oil. It's not like the hydrogenated palmist oil. And it's, you know what I mean? Like try and use high quality, good ingredients in, good ingredients out. So and like the goat's milk soap that we use goat's milk from national champion goats. Nice. Really elite pedigree, top bloodline, multiple award winning does in the little group that we get our milk samples from. And those are, we collect them locally, just like 40 or 50 miles from where we live.
The full interview I did with Manny will be uploaded at a later date. Next up is a creator I am excited to clash styles with in the future. Here is a taste of INFINITE SYKOSIS.
Infinite Psykosis!
Infinite Psychosis.
Infinite Psykosis! Infinite Psykosis! Infinite Psykosis! Infinite Psykosis! Infinite Psychosis! Infinite Psychosis!
Infinite Psychosis. Infinite Psychosis. Infinite Psychosis.
Infinite Psychosis!
Infinite Psychosis.
Infinite Psychosis!
Infinite Psychosis.
Infinite Psychosis.
Next up is a man who needs no introduction. This is the legendary Hood Horror, who has given me some of the best advice and a killer endorsement on his own channel.
It's something that separates me from the other folks that tell stories. And it's a simple thing, but it is kind of complicated at the same time, but it's a simple thing. And it's just the fact that when I tell these stories, they're not just stories. They're not just fictional, stories written by somebody or whatever. I take things that I done seen, things I done heard, things people around me done seen and heard. And I take those and I put them together and bring a realness to the stories that can't nobody, that you can't, it's just some stuff you can't write, man. It's a lot of stuff Hollywood can write, your basic demon possession movies, blah, 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 whatever. But Hollywood can't write growing up and with parents that prefer cocaine, crack cocaine over their own children, man. That's some stuff that Hollywood they can't put themselves in those shoes. So me, even if I ain't been through certain things on my own, it's that I'm able to understand the pain that my brothers and sisters and went through coming out. I'm able to understand the people that I grew up around. I grew up in Chicago on the west side. In K-Town, they call it K-Town because all the streets start with K's. So I grew up around vice lords and four corner hustlers and GDs and new breeds, and you had the Latin Kings a couple of blocks down and stuff, man. And I grew up around that stuff, the Satan disciples, the Spanish disciples, all that. I grew up around that stuff, man. crackhead uncles, cousins, and man, look, I grew up around it. So, it's ain't necessarily that I did the stuff myself, but I was there. And when you're there, I was just blessed enough to not get too deep into it. That's why I do hood horror, because a lot of us, we grew up around and stuff, and we might not have necessarily did it, but we was right there. And that's the horror. The horror is being right there next to it, right there with it, but still not being a part of it. Sometimes it's harder to be right there with it and not be a part of it than it is to be a part of it.
Last and certainly not least, I would like to thank you. Yes, you who are watching right now. It is my pleasure to bring you a bit of entertainment every week. Last week I asked for your questions, which I will now answer. The first question is, how did you make the intro? Is it shot with miniatures? So I had been working on the intro for a few months, actually. It is shot with miniatures, miniature statuettes, and I added animation over the top of those. Next up, I got a question. How TF do you do all these voices? I've been listening for about a month, and I heard you do 3 voices on one story, 3 voices on this story, and all the other voices on some other voices. You got multiple personality, bro. I mean that in a good way, though. So when I was a kid, I got a hold of this cassette tape of the Jerky Boys prank calls, and I never heard anything so funny in my life, and so naturally I tried to emulate that, and I would get the yellow pages and just start calling random people and trying to imitate the voices that the Jerky Boys were doing, and just had a lot of fun with that, just prank calling random people and doing different voices and all kinds of accents, and yeah. What inspired you to be a horror narrator, and what part of hell did you find that intro at? So, to answer the first part of that question, I discovered scary stories on YouTube around 2015, and I was dealing with the loss of a loved one and needed something to occupy my mind and I had been in horror already for a long time. I wrote horror, published author, and became a big fan of the genre. I would listen to it until I fell asleep every night. One day I discovered a certain narrator and wanted them to read one of my stories, but they never responded. So I decided that I would do it myself, and the rest is, well, history. As for the second part of that question, I seem to get a lot of questions about the intro. I was always into old school type of horror, and the entire genre. Things like Jason and the Argonauts and Clash of Titans. The old Ray Harryhausen, claymation, stop motion type of imagery. As for the theme song, I wanted to create something short and simple. I am a big fan of foreshadowing. I'm a big fan of leaving clues to things in plain sight. So, what is the theme song talking about? That's all for this week. I hope you had a excellent holiday. Tune in next week for another episode of This Scary Show.